Hello guys, this is a pre-market analysis of 15th of June and we are going to get around 250 point gap up. So if you remember, the same thing is what we were discussing on the last day. And I told you we are going to get around 200 point gap up and we discussed the reasons also, we discussed the positives and we discussed some kind of small uncertainty also. So we have seen on Friday morning itself, I'll come to the timeline, but let me talk about the context now. So we are going to get a gap up, and whenever we get such a gap up, we are seeing a sell off. So I told you not to chase the gap up, and I asked you to wait for 20 MA. And that is where you should be taking that entry. And you should take an entry at 20 MA because things are looking positive. For the first time, we are seeing the oil price going below 90 and a 5% dip is what you got on Friday. So there is something which we haven't seen so far is there on that day, right? Although Trump was talking about peace deal and all those many times, and he again came and threatened also, but still Friday was totally different. And then the moment they have taken the support and the moment that news also came, and then the moment that day's high is broken, then it's gone. Let me show you the chart and I'll explain. And today also we are going to get a similar gap up. Now the question is, are you going to chase it or not? We are not going to chase it again today, despite all these positivity. I'll talk about the positivity. So here, this is what the gap up, and then suddenly you got the dip, almost 130 point dip, and then recovered. That's the story, right? When you get a gap down, this is a gap down, you got an up move, then you get a down move, right? You get an up move, equal down move. So you got a gap up, you got a down move, and then an up move. When you get a gap down, you get an up move and then a down move. This day was very negative. And this day was very positive, but still you got the sell off. Now, yesterday also, that was very positive, and then you got a sell off and then the recovery, and you got a breakout also. So that actually confirmed the deal. And now, today, we are going to get an opening around 23,900 900 level. So where you're going to get an opening today is around this level. Now 900, 24,000 is actually a major resistance. So whenever you see the price, the if you look at the context, the bigger fall have started. This day was a big gap up. Okay. And here this was 24,000 and previous day 24,000 was the high and you got a good sell off. And next day there was a gap up. This was on 29th of May. And from that gap up, market started getting sell off. That day, it was a big sell off from the top 24,000 to it came till almost 23,730 level. And then next day, gap again, you got a sell off. Towards the end, there was a massive sell off to 500. It came. Then again, a gap up just got sold into. Then a gap down, aggressive buying. And then the market was just staying here. So what my point is, where we are going to open is around 23,900. And from there, if you look at where the market can move is around 100 points, 24,000. Now 24,000, there is a very good supply zone. So this level need to be crossed and closed comfortably. Right, yesterday, like I told you, this high need to be crossed, this high and this high need to be crossed and closed, confirmed, right? That is a confirmation, and then that is when you got this aggressive short covering. So till the time, it is below 24,000, the entire world know that 24,000 can be a big, resistance. So you need to be very careful in that range. So don't chase again immediately because see, many are, look at this from yesterday lows 23,300. Now 23,300 onwards, many of you were already in the trade from there. And when it comes to 24,000, you're getting 700 points, even in futures also, and in option also. So the profit booking will come at that level for sure, right? So 24,000 is a major resistance, and don't get yourself trapped at that level by, having that FOMO, market is going to break 24,000 and all. Let them break. That is when you will get that momentum. Till then, it will be like consolidating at 24,000. And you don't want to be worried about if it is breaking, okay, then we can take a chance. If not, we wait for a pullback, and that is when we are going to take a trade. And if we see some signs of weakness, because still there are tension, Israel situation is not very clear. US Iran is in deal, but Israel situation is entirely different. Israel is still attacking Lebanon, and US have warned Israel also not to attack and all those. But that uncertainty is always there. Israel can attack Lebanon, Israel can still attack, Iran. That is there. So if I want to discuss a timeline, what happened from the last week, right? Thursday onwards. Thursday, we have heard the news that Iran have shot down the helicopter, right? And that's I think on Monday, and that was a negative day. And then Thursday, Trump have threatened a fresh military strike on Iran, and Trump also posted about taking control of Iran's oil and gas field. So market reacted negatively. Most of the global markets were closed negative, and Indian markets also closed negative on Thursday. So we never had that expectation that this deal is going to come in the next day. Now, Thursday night, he changed his tone, and during Indian market night hours after market close, he stated that US was very close to the settlement with Iran. So what happened is during market hours, we had that negativity and market was getting sold into, but overnight things have changed and oil price have cooled off 5%. And that is what I discussed in the pre-market. We are going to get a big gap up, and we need to wait and watch. We get the push pullback. That is when we are going to enter. And then he said US planned military strikes were called off, and other Middle Eastern countries also agreed to the proposal. So Iran also stated the deal, text was largely finalized, and still it's not yet completed. So what was the impact? Most of the global market turned completely positive on Friday. We got a big gap up. We got a pullback as we discussed. And if you see, there was a massive rally. And after that, that's what I have shown you now. Now, Friday night, Trump again stated the peace deal could be signed within days and the Strait of Hormuz would be opened. And all these developments were seen as very positive by the market. And if you look at oil prices, WTI is now 85. We have seen when the war is at peak, it went to 126, 130. Now Brent crude is at 87. And it came below 90 since the war opened for the first time on Friday. Never it came below 90, but now it came below 90 and it came down further. It is 85 and 87. So last day also, from last day Friday on, again if you see, it's almost 3% dip. So in the last 2 days alone, Friday and now till now, it is almost 7-8% dip is what you see in the oil price. Now coming to US market, this SpaceX IPO, that related positivity is there. Peace deal positivity is there. Oil price cooling off positivity is there. So Dow Jones have closed positive, S&P closed positive, Nasdaq also closed positive. All the major indices gained, all the stocks were gaining, but gains were below 1%, but still that's actually good with the context, right? Now, VIX is also dropped around 9% and it's around 17.5. So everything is looking positive. Now, Saturday, what happened is Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, he stated that US and Iran have reached the final deal and initial agreement could be signed on Saturday, that is on 14th June. And Trump also echoed similar comments on Saturday. So what market is expecting, or what market did is global market expecting the peace deal signing on Sunday. And Sunday, there is a twist. Sunday, what happened? Hezbollah launched drone strike on Israeli military target, and Israel attacked southern Lebanon region. So this Hezbollah. Now the question is in the deal whether Hezbollah, Lebanon, and Israel are part of it or not. I'm not sure about it, but that is the fragile area now. So Hezbollah can attack. Now later, see, if now Hezbollah is not attacking, suppose Iran is also stopping, then there is another group, Houthis. They can also now launch attack, because earlier Houthis also have this ballistic missile. They also have the supersonic and all those capacity. Okay, so Hezbollah drone strike was there. Israel also responded, and the peace deal signing was delayed because of that. Then Trump posted aggressive message that he asked Israel not to attack Lebanon, and he warned that US would not support Israel if they attack on Lebanon. So it is very clear that Trump was now very adamant, and Trump is so desperate on this deal at this point of time. And the final breakthrough is early morning today, around 3 o'clock Indian time. Trump posted on social media that the deal with Iran is complete. Now GIFT Nifty is indicating around 300-point gap up opening. Okay, we will be getting an opening around 23,900 plus. So the deal is complete, and the key announcement was full authorization of reopening of Strait of Hormuz. So the oil crisis almost over. Complete removal of the US naval blockade. So that's again solved. Ships can resume the movement. Oil transportation can resume normally as if it was before the war. But Pakistan announced it much earlier, before Trump also. I think Pakistan announced it in at 2:45. In fact, before Trump's announcement, and according to Pakistan, military operations would permanently end all fronts, including Lebanon. And the official signing ceremony will be scheduled for 19th of June in Switzerland. Now, Iran's position. Let me make things very clear so that you will understand. Iran has not yet formally commented, but still Iranian state media have reported that the agreement has been reached. So that gave the positivity to the market, and that's why Gift Nifty is looking like this. So according to Iranian media, in fact, the narrative is different. Of course, the perspective will be different. See, if Indian media is talking about India-Pak war, how it will be portrayed, and Pakistan media, how they portray the India-Pak war will be different. Right, we get an entirely different picture, they will get an entirely different picture. So in their narrative, the US was forced to sign the agreement, and this deal basically represents the victory of Iran over US. So the current takeaway, the confirmation received from United States and Pakistan, not officially fully from Iran, but Iran's state media have confirmed this. So still the biggest uncertainty, that is Israel. Israel is there. Israel may attack Lebanon. Israel may attack Hezbollah. Israel may attack even Iran also. So there is still the deal, I would say, is fragile, because Iran's stand is, if Israel is attacking, then the deal is not valid. Okay, so Israel's position, if you see the recent action, just yesterday only they attacked Lebanon. And there were previous statement that Israel actually indicated it would not participate in the peace agreement. And this is a current risk. If Israel attack Lebanon again, or even Israel attack Iran again, the deal will become ineffective. So what my point is, the deal remains fragile. Yes, on the paper, deal is there. Trump is there. Iran is also to an extent. That is what we understood. But Israel, as of now, it looks like they're respecting the US pressure, but we don't know how Israel will react. Right, so no further attack on Lebanon at this point of time is what US have told. Now, if they follow that, it's fine. If they attack on Lebanon, then that is kind of violation of the deal. That's how Iran will take it, and things will start again. So oil prices have started falling further, right, following this confirmation of the agreement. Additional fall was there around 4.5%, and currently WTI is at 81, very low, almost 4.5% have fallen after this. Right, Brent crude is at 84. US futures, if you see, currently trading, between 1 to 2% positive. And yeah, Trump's press conference is scheduled at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. That's around, yeah, it's just over. Okay, so the same confirmation things and all is what actually discussed. And see, now things are looking positive. US-Iran peace deal is reached. Oil price have fallen sharply, almost 10% in the last 3 days. US markets have closed positive, and futures are currently very positive. Gift Nifty is indicating 250-point gap up. VIX have declined sharply. So oil price also, if you see, have fallen almost 10%, and that's actually very good for India, because very positive for Indian market, and Indian rupee, forex, inflation outlook for everything is positive. So Nifty is now expected to have a significant gap up opening of around 250, even 300 points. But Nifty opening at a psychological level, and close to psychological level, and a very important resistance level, that is 24,000. So markets may ignore most other news today because of the peace deal that is going to dominate the sentiment. But again, if I want to talk about FIIs, they sold for almost 63,000 crore in the month of June so far. Last session also they sold around 1,000 crore. DIs bought around 5,300 crore on last day. So now open interest and all is not going to play much big role. 24,000 is the major resistance. Below that, I think all will be covered now. All the calls will be covered and puts will be pushed in front. So new put writings will come at around 23,800, 23,700, 23,900. And I won't be surprised if 24,000 is closed at 24,000 also, because now the market is looking for some positive momentum. So this is the one which the market was waiting for. So technical, I'm not discussing much as of now, because 24,000 is a psychological level, and after that 24,200. So that's what I want to discuss. So keep an eye on 24,000 level. If that is closed and you get a close above that, and then that is an opportunity. Otherwise, you cannot chase this chase this gap up. It is going to be very difficult, and you may get trapped at the higher level. Let it again come to 20 MA. 20 MA is not a holy level, or that's the price you can buy. It is a range where you get a better app, because we are not God. You cannot enter at the high, you cannot enter at the low also, right? You cannot capture the low, you cannot capture the high. We always need to be at the average price, so that even if you're losing, you will lose more. If there's a considerable chance of winning also, if you are getting at an average price, depending upon the trend. That is how you will increase the probability. So that's about this session, guys. Thank you so much. If you would like to join us for the live market mentoring program with our community to trade with me live, you can get in touch with our team, and I see you there. Thank you.